I always say that the cure for heartbreak is to get laid as quickly as possible. Well, that was what happened to my best friend when his bride was caught banging another guy in the dressing room on their wedding day. So that morning, I woke up thinking I would be a groomsman for my friend at his wedding. But by the end of the day, instead of him spending the night with his new bride, the groomsmen and I took him to a bar and he went home with a gorgeous brunette. It all started when my buddy, let's call him Sam, invited me to his wedding. Sam and I went to the same college and he was my course mate. We were close in college, so it was natural for me to be one of his groomsmen at his wedding years later. Back in college, Sam was dating a girl named Sarah. She was a year younger than us and was a bit of a prima donna and high maintenance. She's funny and very outgoing, and we all enjoyed her presence. She was super hot too, so every one of our friends wanted her. But our buddy Sam was a stud, so we thought they deserved each other. One thing about Sarah though was that she was very socially active and involved in various school activities and very politically active and very liberal. She also had a male best friend that we thought was very gay. I mean, he was so gay, he wears makeup and stuff like that. We didn't take him seriously as he dates guys, so Sam didn't see him as a threat. Since her gay best friend is an important part of this story, let's call him Gaylord, because this is the gayest name I can think of. So Sarah and Gaylord were friends before Sarah and Sam started dating. So Gaylord was in total support of Sarah and Sam's relationship. One semester, I was roommates with Sam, so Sarah and Gaylord would always visit our apartment so much that we got used to him. As soon as Sam and Sarah started dating, I knew Sam was in love because he stopped going out with us and would involve Sarah in everything he does. Sometimes that involves bringing Sarah on boys' night out events because Sam and Sarah were glued to each other. Gaylord would tag along sometimes, and we got used to him as well. After we graduated, everyone kind of thought Sarah and Sam would end up together. It wasn't really a question because they were so close. Fast forward 2 years later, I was 25 years old, employed, and have my own apartment. My life was going great. I was living the bachelor's dream. I'm a good-looking guy, so I had a couple of girls in my rotation. The last thing that came to mind was getting married or having a serious girlfriend. I was like the playboy type. I was going out every night and successfully bringing girls back home, at least 70% of the time. Life was good. That was around the time I received a non-surprising text and then phone call from Sam asking me to be one of his groomsmen. He didn't have to ask because that was given as we were close friends in college. Anyway, I accepted. Months before the wedding, we went out to get our outfits measured. I saw Sam, Sarah, and surprisingly, Gaylord was there. Gaylord and I caught up because we haven't seen each other for like 2 years. I found out that he now had a serious boyfriend and a good job outside the city as well, and he would be at the wedding as well. Unsurprisingly, Gaylord and Sarah are still best friends, and he lives in the same town with Sarah and Sam. I also met Sam's younger sister that I had a thing for, but never acted on it because I don't want to get it on with my friend's sister. We were friends and enjoyed flirting and joking around every time we saw each other. Fast forward to the day of the wedding. I Ubered to the rented mansion early so we could take some wedding pictures at the mansion. I met everyone including Sam's best man and other groomsmen who happened to be his close relatives. Lots of our fellow classmates were there as well. The plan was to attend the white wedding in the afternoon. Then after the white wedding, we planned on going to the reception at a beachside resort, which was crazy because we could have done the white wedding and the reception at the same spot. But Sarah was a prima donna and wants to show off because it was her big day. It was an expensive wedding. Everything added up to about 50K. Sam contributed 20K and Sarah's parents pitched in for the rest. I knew about that because Sam wouldn't stop talking about how Sarah's parents covered most of it because she wanted a princess wedding for her big day. Sarah is one of those type of girls that wanted everything to be perfect. Sam is cheap, so he couldn't get over the fact that they're spending 50K for a wedding that would only be for one day. Sam and I thought the price tag was too much. If it was left to him, he would have opted for a 10K wedding with fewer people. But Sarah insisted Well, it made for the disaster that would happen be even bigger. She wanted a lot of guests to show up and watch her on the most amazing day of her life. The white wedding was outdoor, and they rented a massive 2-acre property that had a 4,150 square foot mansion where the groomsmen and the bride and the bridesmaids would get dressed and take pictures. The outdoor decorating was beautiful, and they didn't spare a dime on the decoration. It was lovely. Even I, that hated the price tag, was even sold because it was so beautiful. So the wedding started. Everyone was getting anxious because all the guests, including the priest, were waiting because we were already 45 minutes late. The groom's party, which includes me, was chilling in one of the large bedrooms in a separate section of the house. We were joking around while waiting for the wedding planner to tell us when the bride is ready for us to start working down the aisle. Then I was told to check on the bride to see what the holdup was all about. Since I knew the bride and Sam's family, that's probably why I was chosen to check on them. I left the room to check on the bride, and as I was walking to the other side of the mansion where the bride's dressing room is, I saw Sam's sister freaking out outside the bridesmaid's room, and the other bridesmaids and the wedding planners were attempting to calm her down. It was a bit of a commotion, and I rushed in. I didn't even know what was going on, so I approached them. As I was getting closer to Sam's sister, one of Sarah's friends physically tried to stop me and told me that everything was okay and that I should go back to the other room and wait. Even the wedding planner tried to push me away, but I insisted on approaching Sam's sister because she was acting hysterical and they seemed to be comforting her, but failing. I forced myself closer to her, and that was when I heard what she was saying. She was saying something about Sarah having sex with Gaylord. I looked around, but didn't see Sarah or Gaylord, so I was even more confused. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, so I pushed Sarah's friends away to get to Sam's sister. When I got to her, I literally carried her away from the hyenas that surrounded her so I could isolate her and understand what she was saying. I carried her to the side of the large living room where my back was against everyone, and that was when she told me that she walked in on the bride having sex with Gaylord. I was shocked. I didn't even think about the consequences of what would happen if Sam got wind of this. All I thought about instinctively was that Sam should know. As Sarah's friend and wedding planners approached me, telling me not to tell Sam, reminding me of the consequences, I immediately dragged Sam's sister by the hand and took her to the room where all the groomsmen and Sam were. I think that was right before then that the bride came out of the room, crying with her makeup all messed up, with her tears, wanting to stop us from going to the section of the house where Sam was. She was pleading with us, but I just went ahead. I shut the door behind us to prevent Sarah's friend and the wedding planner from entering in. It was like a small crowd was behind us, and I shut them out. Sam's sister was very upset and angry at this point, so I told her to narrate what she just told me, as everyone, including Sam, huddled around her. That was when she told us that when they got ready to walk down the aisle, Sarah was getting anxious after putting on her white dress and wore her makeup. Gaylord was the one that did her makeup, so it was not surprising that Gaylord went into the room with her. Then Sam's sister forgot something in her bag that was in the same room, so she went back into the room. The room was unlocked, so she opened it, and to her horror, she caught the bride, Sarah, riding Gaylord on the bed. As soon as she saw them, she screamed, and everyone rushed in the room, as Sarah and Gaylord kept saying it was a mistake and begging Sam's sister not to tell. But Sam's sister was freaking out. Everyone rushed into the room where Sam's sister caught them, and they realized what just happened. They wanted Sam's sister to keep quiet, but she was freaking out outside the room. That was when I showed up. I won't forget the look on Sam's face after he heard the story. He held both hands above his head, and all he was saying was, "Oh my God." Right then, there were knocks on the door saying that the wedding is almost 2 hours late and the guests were getting antsy. I asked Sam what he wanted to do as he sat on the bed. He said he was going to kill Gaylord. I told him maybe we would do that later, But for now, what about the wedding? He told me that he couldn't go out there. I asked him what he meant, and he got up and told me that he can't go through with the wedding. He was obviously heartbroken. He was all red, hyperventilating, feeling claustrophobic. So he opened the door and walked towards the bride's section. He entered the bride's room, and she was crying and begging him to forgive her. He yelled at her and asked her how long it has been going on, and she continued to say that it just happened and it was a mistake. Sam got mad and walked off the building as some people went after him. It was chaotic, like there was fire in the building or something. He went outside and told the limo driver to take him back to the hotel. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to follow my friend Sam or remain in the mansion. So I decided to go to the backyard, at least to tell Sam's parents what was going on. As I walked back to the mansion, I saw Gaylord sneaking from the mansion into his car. I guess his job is done here. When I walked back into the mansion, everyone was looking at me like I was the problem. The bride was crying. Her friends were comforting her. It was a disaster. And on top of that, the bride's father was furious at her because the man had spent all this money and was about to walk his daughter down the aisle. It was total pandemonium. So I walked towards Sam's parents in the backyard where the white wedding was supposed to take place. They were sitting on the front row and they haven't gotten the news. I came to them and broke the news to them. They were beyond shocked. I looked up and some of the guests had already heard, as news flies like wildfire. Some of them were already leaving. I mean, this was a huge wedding and lots of guests there. Generations of families, co-workers, and friends of friends were there. I felt really sad as I looked up and realized that most of the guests were out of their seat and talking amongst each other. Some were already going home. Sam's sister and his other siblings came and joined us on the front row. Sam's dad told me to find out where Sam was and make sure he's okay. I felt like it was time for me to leave and check on my friend. I called him, but he wasn't picking up. So I called a friend that had left with him, and he told me what bar they were at. I got an Uber and drove there. When I got to the bar, the entire groom party was there, still dressed up. It was already around 4 or 5 p.m. So we went to a restaurant to eat. We all did all we could to cheer him up by saying that it was better he found out now than later. After lunch, someone suggested that we hit a strip club. We were drunk by the time we got to the strip club, and it was pretty crazy because we were all riding around in the limo with champagne and Hennessy, celebrating like we won a Super Bowl. It was like everyone knew how sad this was, but chose to have fun and forget about it. We had some fun, and some of the groomsmen, including the groom and I, got blown by a stripper. We didn't want to sleep with any of them, so we went out later that night, and the groom took some random girl home. Well, the wedding was obviously cancelled, and they flushed $50,000 down the drain. Sam and Sarah obviously broke up, and Gaylord decided that he is no longer gay, and now he's in a relationship with Sarah, to the horror of her parents, who basically disowned her. Really sad and funny story looking back to know that all along, why Sam and Sarah had been together, Gaylord has always been the third wheel. And at the end of the day, Gaylord won the day. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Please support this channel by hitting the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you and have a wonderful day.